gold and silver, precious metals, are not some short-term speculation. Buy the dip says that you're going to buy at lows and hopefully sell at highs. Well, markets go up and down. Gold and silver could go down for a period of a couple days or a couple months. Is this the bottom of the dip? I don't know. It could go down further, but it can't go down a lot. But gold will go higher. This is something I am very confident of. I'm not guaranteeing it for you, but I have bet my life that gold is going higher, a lot higher than where it is right now. And it is the geopolitical concerns that we've got going on right now and the rampant inflation that is the driver for astronomically high gold prices. So the risk-reward ratio, there is a little bit of downside risk potentially, but it's short-term, and that is limited by the cost of gold mining, ultimately. The reward ratio is, as you're going to see toward the end of this video, pretty darn high. So this is the reason that I have bet my life on gold and silver. Now, I've been buying wealth insurance since gold was $315 an ounce, and I found out about silver when it was how undervalued it was back in early 2003. So gold since October of 2002. And I have been buying steadily through this whole thing. Now, there's some patterns here I'm going to discuss in a moment that are extremely bullish. You already know about one of them. But I want to point you to these two articles here. The Gold Market Update by Clive Mond. Slingshot advance is still in its infancy. Slingshot. So this is the big move. We are going there. There may be some pullbacks left. I'll show you something in a minute. But also read still huge upside from here on the silver market update. This is much bigger upside actually than gold because of the gold-silver ratio. But here's a pattern. I've mentioned the cup and handle pattern, which includes all of this. But there is also an inverse head and shoulders going on. We haven't broken the neckline yet, but when we do, look out. There should be some big fireworks. So what was going on back in the 70s? This is the 1970s here, and this was one of the greatest bull markets of all time. The silver went up 37 times its original price. Gold went up 24 times its original price. But as you can see here, the big move comes at the very end. And the difference here, if you compare this to the market that we've already had in precious metals, the move from the year 2000 up to 2011 was a greed-driven mania. And here, this big old spike here is a panic-driven buying spike in precious metals. So this is where, this is people chasing after gold and silver as wealth insurance. And so what drove this? What drove it was the Iran hostage crisis, the oil embargo, so very, very high oil prices, and raging inflation. Well, this is something I've been talking about, this bull market, for a decade. And I said, this is what drove it. But when I was saying that when we were fighting deflation and the Fed could not achieve 2% inflation target. They kept on creating currency, lowering interest rates, and nothing worked. They couldn't create the inflation that they wanted back then. So we were fighting deflation. We didn't have the threat of some huge war. Today, we have raging inflation, high oil prices, and the tail risk potential. But this is a potential. It's a tail risk. It's not the most probable outcome, but it's within the realm of possibilities. World War III. This isn't 50 hostages being held by a little hostile government that doesn't really have any weapons. This is the other great nuclear power and the United States. And to me, this is time for wealth insurance. So what else is different? Well, back in the 70s, if you look at this chart, this is the amount that the U.S. owes, our debt, as a percentage of gross domestic product. And it was down at 44% in 1941, and then with World War II, almost 120%. But in the 70s, you had 35%, 31%. It averaged about 1/3 of the U.S. economy. Now we're up at 106, but wait a minute, this chart stops in 2019. Why? It's annual data, and for some reason, they know what 2020 was, and now they know what 2021 was, but they haven't posted it yet. I wonder why. Well, this chart gives you historic context. It goes back to 1939. The next chart zooms up on it. This is quarterly data. It's as of the end of last year, except it only goes back to 1966. But still, you can see there's 30.8%, there's 30.7%, 30.6%. So that decade averaged about 1/3 of GDP, and now we're up at 123% of GDP, coming down from 136% of GDP. So we're already in this debt pit.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race. You're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Markus Dahn, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I intend, how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Markus Dahn.